There are many things to consider when buying a new set of keycaps. The profile, the color, the layout and legends, and of course, the material. Keycaps are usually made of ABS or PBT plastic.
However, we've seen keycaps made of all kinds of material. Rubber, POM, ceramic, metal, or even wood.
You mean wood?
Wood.
But are they worth it?
Well, let's find out.
Hello Digmates, I'm Dominique.
And I'm Mikkel.
And we're going to review all of these keycaps in terms of build quality, texture, quality of the legends, and sound.
Ready?
First, ceramic.
This cost $149 on Kickstarter, but that Kickstarter has finished and they're now out of stock, but they are preparing a second batch.
These keys are made of alumina ceramic, which is a resistant material, and they're not prone to rust or degradation.
Yeah, think of ceramic tiles, the ones that you can find in your kitchen.
And they're quite thick, I think around 1.5 to 2 millimeters.
Yeah, that makes them heavy. They weigh about 4 grams, which is 4 times more than a regular ABS or PBT keycap.
Yeah.
You can see how chunky this is.
Yeah, and obviously if you drop this would break.
Yes, we're not gonna try it, but the thing with ceramic, it can break. Like a ceramic tile can break, these keycaps could break if they fall.
Another thing is the ceramic stem holder is stiffer than plastic, making it less flexible.
Yeah, that makes the keys maybe too hard to put in or too loose. That was mean. You see what happens.
So if you like to bottom out,
don't punch the keyboard.
Don't.
3,000 years later.
So the new version actually fixes this
Yeah,
issue.
they will have like a plastic stem holder instead of a ceramic stem holder. There will be less problem with tolerances.
The legends are clear with precise lettering.
Yeah, and the thing is that they are not shine through, but as you can see, the light shines through the keycap itself. You have kind of this diffuse lighting,
Yeah.
which is nice.
And also for the legends, they're actually painted and then placed in an oven at around
800 degrees.
Around
something like
800
that, yeah.
degrees. So you can feel it, but it's guaranteed that it's really stuck there. The keys are also cold to the touch. They're colder than, I think, plastic keys.
Yeah, but once you start typing on them, they get warmer.
And they also have this grippy feel at first, but after some use, it does become a bit slippery.
Especially if you have like a bit of greasy hands like me, then they get really greasy.
Why are your hands
Slippery.
greasy?
I'm like that.
There's also no bumps on the F and J keys.
And since the keys are really heavy, switches feel lighter. So keep that in mind when you choose yours. Probably you will need switches that are a bit heavier.
Now let's do a sound test. I think it's time for a rating.
Yeah.
How would you rate this?
I really like how they look. I don't know how the lights shine through it, and everything is really cool that you have keycaps made of ceramic. But when you type on them, they don't feel that great.
I mean, I also kind of have mixed feelings because they're very beautiful. I like the sound, but overall, when this keeps happening, I know they're gonna fix it, but for now, if this keeps happening, I just don't want to type on it.
Maybe if it's for a show keyboard, it's a meh. But if you are gonna actually use it, it's a why God why? Meh, probably, yeah.
So the next set of keycaps we have are made of metal.
Yes, the price is pretty hefty. If 90 bucks just for the alphas, not the whole set. And the good thing is that they are available in silver, gold,
Wow.
blue, black, and even like a cool gradient that it's unique. They don't even show pictures. They will tell you, you might get a different gradient than the one shown in the picture. So it says like random gradient, but we haven't tested them. We chose gold.
Let's take one out. I took a switch.
We'll get there, but they have a similar problem to the ceramic keycaps. The stem holder is a bit tight, so it's difficult to put them in and out. Not as much as the ceramic keycaps, and they don't have the problem of falling off, but they're difficult to put in and out.
I guess if you have hot swappable switches, this might be a problem. The body and the stem holder, they're made of metal with a small rubber cushion inside to prevent dust from reaching the switch.
You can see that they are quite thin, like 0.6 millimeters, which is less than a regular keycap, which is 1. But since they're made of metal, it doesn't really matter because they are really sturdy.
And like ceramic keycaps, they're quite heavy. one keycap is around 4 grams versus...
Yeah, compare 1 gram of a regular ABS versus PVT or PVT keycap. Yeah.
Because it's so heavy, you actually don't need to apply a lot of force when typing on it because the keycap itself is heavy. So you just apply a little bit of pressure and you're already actuating the key.
Yeah, that's like the ceramic keycaps. They're heavy, so if you have light switches, they'll feel even lighter. Only if you want to keep the same feeling that as your normal keyboard or your normal keycaps, you will need to switch to switches that are a little bit heavier.
Or switch to tactile switches, because with that you would actually feel the bump. The engraving of these legends are really, really good, and they will never fade.
The thing is that the metal reflects the light. So when you put it on the keyboard, it makes a real fraction here, which might change the lighting.
But I must say that even when that happens, it still looks very beautiful, and the backlight is still very crisp and clear.
One thing with the cutout of the legend is that you can actually feel it in some keys, like the U, and it doesn't have the bump on the F and the J. And the other thing is that they look texture, but it's more of a polished finish than a brushed finish.
And the grip is decent. They feel a little bit slippery, but as you said, with the polished finish, it actually feels like there's texture. Sound. I like it. It has a unique sound.
I think you can notice a little bit of ping because it's metallic. It sounds deep, I think, because of the density of the material. That helps.
Do you like it? I kind of like it. Actually, I really like it. I think it's really cool.
For me, I think even though we mentioned a couple of drawbacks, I think it looks so good.
Oh! Yeah, I have the same rating. Third set, we have POM Keycaps.
So these are POM Keycaps. They cost 70 euros in this case because we're in Europe for a full set.
So these are made of a single shot plastic.
However, POM is among the densest plastic, up to 50% more than ABS.
They actually feel much tighter than other plastic materials.
But installing and removing them is much easier than on ceramic or metal keycaps, so this is okay.
Another thing is that the walls of these keycaps are actually thick. It's around 1.5 millimeters. The light comes across quite beautifully diffused through the keycap.
Yeah, and this set in particular doesn't have legends, so you might need to play with the RGB.
But then there are other sets that have legends on the sides. And on this set, where the F and J keys should be, they have the bumps.
But they are very low and barely noticeable, but that's just this set.
So you might want to use different lights for those at least.
So regarding the texture, they look like they are gonna have a texture, but they don't.
Yeah, they're actually very, very slippery to the touch.
For me, it's meh. You know, it's like I would like them to have a texture, but it's so slippery.
Yeah, they're very slippery, more than ABS.
Cheap ABS.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe for some people they like this, but
yeah, it's not for either of us. Like I want to say, they look really cool. Let's see how they sound.
Yeah, let's do a sound test. So even though they have thicker walls, they do sound clackier.
I also thought that because POM is denser, it would absorb more sound, but it's on the clacky side.
Yeah.
Maybe it reflects sound because it doesn't have any texture.
So what would you rate this one, Mick?
For me, I love the looks. I love how the light shines through. It's diffused, so it's not like you have the LED right there. So you have a lot of options to do color combinations, but the texture is not for me, and the sound is not great either.
Yeah, I'm also not sure about this one. I don't like this one. It's too slippery.
We agree on. Exactly.
The fourth keycap that we have with us is a rubber keycap set.
This costs 46 euros for a 42 keycap set, which is usually the alphas and the numbers and some modifiers. But the one that we got is a bit different. It's just half of that set.
Yeah, and the other half is made of single shot ABS plastic.
That's our ABS.
So these keycaps are made of two different ejections. One of them is transparent ABS, and the outer part is made of texturized rubber.
So the plastic is 1 millimeter. You can see that inside. And then it has a rubber coating of 0.5 millimeter.
And just like ABS keycaps, these keycaps are also very easy to install and remove.
As a result of the double shot process, the legends are very clean and they will last forever.
And even though this is a double shot keycap where normally the shine through isn't as good, this actually has really great shine through.
Yeah, I think it's because the plastic and the rubber let some light through. So it's not completely opaque, and that helps.
And with regards to the feel, the first thing you'll notice is this grippy texture on the top part of the keycap.
Yeah, maybe it's super creepy, maybe too much.
Actually feels like it's not the same feeling as the POM Keycaps, but it does give you that sensation of something is pricking your fingertips.
Yeah, it's like a million little bumps.
I do like this texture, the side.
Yeah, maybe if the top was like the side, it would be much nicer, and then you can also squeeze them, right? Yeah.
And they actually feel quite a bit elastic.
I think that grip, some people will appreciate, especially for gaming. But I think it's a bit too much. But maybe for WASD and then control, something like that, that could be a good idea. Like you're gonna find those keys really fast, but not. I wouldn't recommend that for the whole set if you're gonna be typing.
So let's do a sound test.
The rubber must muzzle the high-pitched sounds, but they're not as thuggy as I would expect.
Ratings.
I think for me, they don't look great. They don't feel great. The light's good. They even feel like cheap, even though they're not. For me, it's a no.
And same for me.
Clear.
And that I have the same sentiments. I don't like this texture at the top. It just feels, like I said earlier, like there's like 1,000 pricks pricking my fingertips.
If you're looking for a gaming keycap, that your fingers won't slip off the keycap, they won't slip off this.
Yeah.
You know?
Or if you just want to have specific keycaps with this material.
Yeah, maybe you're learning to touch type and you want to find the F and the J. That would be great,
Yeah.
That would be great.
But not for
just those two.
Yeah, not for the entire keyboard. And last we have the wood.
Thing is, real wood keycaps are extremely expensive. Like really expensive. So we went to AliExpress and it turned out that these are plastic with fake wood finish. They only cost 52 euros for the whole set.
But for a keycap from AliExpress, they are really nice. They are double shot PBT keycaps with
You didn't see nothing.
thick 1.5 millimeter walls.
And the fake wood is actually really good.
Did you just say good twice?
So it has a nice texture finish that you would expect from real wood and good wood.
Good wood. And if it wasn't for how light they are, they could actually pass as real wood.
They are double shot, but the legends are really crisp and quite a lot of light shines through.
Yeah, I'm actually quite impressed with this.
So let's do a sound test. I think these are the best sounding of all 5. The keycap, the metal one and the ceramic sounded really good.
Good.
These sound really good.
They sounded really wood. I think it's also because we're used to double shot keycaps.
Yeah, and they sound like double shot PBT keycaps.
Yeah. This sounds deeper. There's more volume. This not so much.
Yeah, because they're lower.
Slower.
Yeah, that's cherry profile.
This is cherry profile. So how would you rate these keycaps, Mikael? Because I know we wanted wood, but we got double shot PBT keycaps.
Double shot PBT keycaps for 52, and the finish is not wood, but it's good.
So you would give this a?
I would go for thumbs up. Yeah, I really like this. Like I was deceived by them not being real wood, but they are good.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give it a meh.
Yeah, I saw that coming from you.
It's regular double shot PBT keycaps.
But the metal keycaps are not gold, so and you're not deceived by that. But they're metal.
But they're metal.
They're not.
They're actually
what
they are supposed to be.
There's some metal keycaps that have the same problem as these. They are plastic with a kind of look like metal, but not metal.
So should we do our final rating?
Yes. The worst one, rubber. Now, for me, next would be POM, because of that, slippery feeling. Then I would get ceramic. I wouldn't use them, but they look so nice. And then It's a difficult choice, but I'm gonna go with metal. So this is my second to best. They look really nice, and I also tried them with a gold keyboard and combination of that with this. And my winner would be the one that I don't know how to pronounce, but they are good. So
They're good wood.
yeah, but maybe it's just because they're nice PBT keycaps. Oh, number 1. So how would you rate them, Dom?
So for me, my least favorite, the bottom keycap would be POM.
Yeah.
I just can't bear the slippery.
You only have to look at your face when you touch this.
This is bearable. Then we have the ceramic keycaps, which would be my third. And then my second favorite would be the wood, because they are really nice. And I am a sucker for double shot PBT keycaps. And my favorite is the metal.
I would say that they look really nice and they sound really nice.
And I really love having colorful backlight. So this is my number 1.
So how would you rate them?
Have you tried them all? And if you have,
Please let us know in the comments below, share your opinion. Tell us what other keycaps you want us to try, because we can buy more, right, Luis? You can give us the money.
Look what I found in my pocket! Look! A year's salary right here!
actually, Miguel, I was thinking that for the end of this video, we can do an experiment. David, coge el Dygmax.
He was gonna throw it to us. We're gonna
So, Miguel, let me ask you a question. Which of these keycaps do you think could withstand the Dygmax?
I think only the metal ones, but we can try.